I'm Laura Frapolo, Realtor with ERA Oakcrest Realty.
Okay.
Now, that's not a construction one. I'm the bookkeeper for a construction company. So I
Right.
don't feel qualified to talk as the contractor. So I just did it as my other job.
That's fine, but you still do that job, correct?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So that was the first one. What was the second one you did?
Oh, gosh. The second one was, and this one I don't remember verbatim because I didn't practice it as much, but it was more of, I believe that people who are looking to buy a home or sell their current home deserve the most educated and knowledgeable agent that they can find. And I dedicate myself on continuing education and making sure that I'm up on all new laws and rules and regulations. I'm Laura Frapolo, Realtor, ERA Oakcrest Realty.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask everybody else on the call, when you have something to say, unmute yourself. Are you hearing this as a why video, what she's describing? I don't know. Alex, I know you were listening. Do they sound like whys to you?
Not, maybe not the strongest of whys. I mean, I think it's interesting. The first one, in terms of why Laura's involved in real estate sales, and in terms of a sort of a change of, I mean, there's a human interest component to that, which I thought was interesting. I'm not sure if it's the why that you're recommending we get to.
Well, I guess what I'm asking, what I'm asking is, does it sound like there's a reason why she does? And Laura, please be patient with me on this, okay? I'm not trying to be critical.
No problem.
But what I'm wondering is, there seemed to be no passion about why. It just seemed like you had nothing to do, and your son said, "Oh, you could do this," and you went, "Oh yeah, I've got nothing to do, so I might as well do that." It doesn't sound like a why real estate. It sounds like a why you did something.
For me, it looks more like a description.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. I understand. All right, I'll work on that. How would you have phrased that?
Well, first of all, I'm not you, and so the way I'd phrase it would be different. That being said, so I'll just give you a possibility, okay?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
again, it's not me, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I might say in 2014, I forget, you lost your job or whatever, and I didn't know what to do. And then my son reminded me how fulfilling I found it to be a real estate agent, how I had enjoyed so much helping people find their dream home and moving on to the next phase of their life, and how meaningful that was for me, and how much it gave me purpose. And so I decided to do that again. Don't even know why I stopped doing it. I had been so good at it and enjoyed it so much. I mean, I might want to do business with somebody who remembered how much they enjoyed and had passion for helping people.
Gotcha. In
I
fact,
think.
before you even started talking, that was in my mind, because actually my tagline is that I have a passion for real estate, and I didn't use that at all for the video.
Right. Remember, the why should have a benefit to it. If you understand what I'm saying, that
Yes.
that I shouldn't be wondering, well, that's wonderful, I'm glad that she's now filled up her day, but I don't know what it does for me.
Gotcha.
Does that make
Yes,
sense?
no, I appreciate it. That's what we need, is feedback.
Right. All right. but that was good. Grayson, are you, can you unmute yourself for a second?
I'm here. Sorry for being late.
No problem. Did you send out the link to the Facebook groups? A couple of them said they didn't get it.
It's possible I didn't put it in that email. I will resend with the Facebook link, or I'll send the Facebook link to the group. Absolutely.
Well, now I'm actually glad he didn't send it.
Grayson, remember there's two. There's the one where they like the MPN page where we post stuff, but then also the private Facebook group.
Right, the Smart Builder. I got you.
Okay.
Man, I got it.
All right. So Alex, you said you had done it too. How did yours come out?
Hi. Well, it was a struggle for me because of my sense towards perfectionism, and I think I did about 10 or 12, maybe 15 different tries, which I called essentially 5 or 6 takes. And I finally did land on one, which I uploaded to the Google Drive page, Grayson. And what I said was, I started off with the comment, have you ever been in the zone? You know, when time stands still? So that was my hook line. And I then described that happened to me a lot when I started in my building and remodeling career. I would lose track of time completely. Coworkers would have to remind me it was time to pack up the tools and, you know, head home. I might fall asleep on the drafting board designing that just somewhat better perfect solution to somebody's design problem. And I realized somewhere in in those early years that I really loved the process of solving these 3D puzzles, which buildings and houses are, and with a complex set of variables, and that you know, I still enjoyed that very much and found it very satisfying and gratifying, and I've been doing it ever since. And I'm Alex Dean. I'm founder of the Alexander Group. And I think I also said something like, I help people make their vision into reality. And then I said my name at the end.
Grayson, did you get that in the Google Drive?
Yes.
Do you want to, can you play it for everybody?
Give me a moment. I didn't pull it down on my machine. Keep talking and I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Okay. But that did sound, I don't know, that sounded like a why to me. I mean, that sounded like there was some passion and some commitment.
It took me a while to get to that. And I will admit that what you hear on the playback may not have the passion inflected into it that I feel. I think I was pretty uncomfortable in the video format, feeling natural and expressive. So my words may seem somewhat static and unenthusiastic on the recording, but you will find it more succinct. There's fewer words, it's more to the point. And I think I did it in under a minute.
Okay.
Alex, did you move it? I'm having a hard time finding it. We sent it to your client folders on ours.
I put it on just a new upload, and I think it was just after some of the other pictures. I haven't gone back to look at it since.
Yeah. I'll
All
keep digging.
Okay.
I did it the next morning.
Right, I remember.
So
It's fine.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
say-
I'm still looking.
Yes, I'm going to say for everybody else on the call, and you, Alex, both, is that there's no reason we should find this natural. It's something we don't normally do. That being said, if we're going to have successful businesses, we better become natural at expressing why and what and how we do what we do. If we don't get natural at that, we're going to struggle bringing in the business we need to bring in. So it's perfectly reasonable that it's not natural. It probably isn't a good business decision to leave it that way, though.
Right, right. No, I don't think this is a finished product, and I appreciate your comments. My wife, who's my most honest critic, said, I think it was, we were talking about something else. I was talking about sustainability, which is another thing I'm pretty passionate about. And she said to me, you need to be expressive and speak like that in your video, you know, with that same enthusiasm and passion that you feel. And,
Right.
and I know she's right. So
All right.
appreciate your comments. Thanks.
It's interesting. People can feel sincerity. I remember, you know, it just,
I'll take care of that.
we're so used to, you know, giving us canned lines that we get pretty good at spotting when someone's being sincere. I think. What do you think? Alex?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. And so that's what we have to become good at. And usually the only way to get good at it is to do it. You know, I would suggest to everybody that you record a 1 minute message you share on Facebook every day for the next 30 days. You will get better at it.
We just record or we share? What do you advise?
I said record and share,
Record and share. Okay.
okay? Because it becomes real when we start sharing it,
Okay.
okay? All right, did anyone else try one? No one else, huh? So let me ask, the people who didn't do it, what held you back?
Well, today my first day here. I'm sorry, I missed last week.
Okay. Well, that's what held you back.
Yes.
Hey, Art, excuse me. We had a few people that weren't like allowed to talk, so I've given everybody in the group permission to talk. So if anyone that wanted to say something wants to, you can unmute yourself and go. And I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm
appreciate
Gail. I'm Gail. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Let's let.
Okay, I didn't create my video because I had one excuse after another, such as I did create a video, but that was just for a friend that was doing an MS walk. And I had to do that on my own, carrying my phone, and my arm wasn't far away. So I was going to have someone else shoot my video, and then the weather wasn't available. I wanted to do it outside. So it was one thing after another, but that's the reason I didn't do mine.
Okay.
Art,
Hi,
I
this
didn't
is-
do mine because I've been just busy as all get out. So I will do one and I'll have it ready for next week for sure.
Me too.
Super. Okay. What are these?
My problem is that I'm not the owner of the business. There's 3 owners of my business, and I was trying to get them to do the video, but they were all very busy. I should have done what our first speaker did and just did my own. But,
Right. The
maybe
interesting
I'll
thing
just
is,
do it that way.
I'm going to suggest this is a mental challenge for us, because I've seen people get really good at doing because they do it. They didn't get good because they were natural at it. They got good because they did it. Where they literally, while walking out of the car, would shoot a quick 1 minute video that would talk about something pretty compelling. And it'd be pretty, you know, or they'd shoot it in the car while driving. There's one person I know that's built his complete business by shooting like 1 minute videos from his car. You know, he has his phone on a car holder that's on the dashboard,
Uh-huh.
and he'll just hit play or record, and he'll just record a 1 minute message that's pretty compelling because he's gotten so good at it because he does it sort of, and every single day when he gets in his car and starts driving, he records a video for everybody. And that literally takes no extra time for him. It doesn't matter how busy he is, he's driving. It's not like he's doing something else at that time, if that makes sense. Now, I mean, he might do phone calls there and stuff, but we all have at least a minute in the car where we're not driving, where we're not talking to somebody or something. Would you agree?
Yes.
And so we act like we have to carve out time to do this, where actually we don't have to carve out time to do this. I don't know if you remember with Josh when we played his videos last week, but literally there was some of them while he was walking to his son's preschool. He's outside walking, shooting the video. So he was going to be outside walking to the preschool regardless. Does that make sense?
Yes, what you're saying, do those 1 minute always talk about something related to the business or something just what comes to our minds?
Well, if you want your business to benefit from it, it's got to be something about the business.
Okay.
If you're just doing it for friends, you know, you can share anything. But if we're building the business, it's got to be something about the business.
But the
Okay.
one you're saying to do every day for the next 30 days, are you saying to do all Y videos, or are you just saying to do mix it up? Are you saying to do first 10 days of Y videos, 10 days
No.
of what? That
No, the
kinda-
why videos are very specific. I'm just saying get used to using the video. So
Mm-hmm.
as an example, let's just say I was doing a 1 minute video, okay?
Okay.
So as you all know, I'm in digital marketing. So I might say something like, hey, today I was talking to a client and he was buying leads from Home Advisor for $90 a lead and was really excited because he found another place where he could buy actual appointments for $130 per appointment. Now, it used to drive him crazy that he would pay Home Advisor for leads that he would never be able to reach. And so he was saving all that money by not paying for leads he couldn't reach. He was only paying for appointments. And then I did the math with him, and it came out that the Home Advisors were actually costing him less per appointment. And he realized it was just emotional that it bothered him that he was paying for leads that didn't become appointments, even though when you only counted the appointments against the total cost he paid Home Advisor, it was actually cheaper to buy from Home Advisor. So it is critical when you're making marketing decisions that you actually follow up on the math and know which one's actually costing you more. That's it. Just a thought about my business.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And that's a true story, by the way. That happened today with a client, and he realized he was making just an emotional decision that it felt better to him to pay $130 for an appointment than to pay $90 for a lead, of which when you actually did the math, those leads were costing about, when he switched it to appointments, were actually costing about $115 an appointment. So he was actually paying $15 more per appointment and feeling better about it because it was just emotionally got him to be paying for something that he thought he was getting nothing for it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And do you see how that could be relevant to a business person? Well, first of all, I think we all, tell me if you agree, I think we all could understand his emotional feeling about paying for a lead that they couldn't even reach. Could you understand why that would frustrate him?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But when you looked at the number of appointments he set out of 30 appointments, the actual cost was less, even when you counted in those leads that he couldn't reach. And so you see how it was better to pay the $90 per lead and not be able to reach some of them, right? Because the total cost was actually less. So that's a relevant thing to marketing. But it really just happened. I don't know. Somebody just, who's feeling brave? Someone volunteer.
I'm feeling brave.
Okay, who's this?
Daisy.
I'm sorry.
Daisy.
Daisy,
D-A-I-S-Y.
okay,
Like
perfect.
the flower.
So Daisy, what did you do? What happened today in your business or around your business that you could share with people that would be enlightening?
Okay. I make Daisy Super Tonic. It's a immune booster, 100% raw, organic, all ingredients that horseradish, garlic, onions, habanero pepper, and it's pretty spicy. And last night, my daughter wanted a salad, and she asked, Mom, I want with a Daisy Super Tonic dressing. Then I make some cabbage and put a lot of Super Tonic, and it was pretty spicy. She ate the whole thing, and she was so happy. And that's it.
Excellent. Now, I'm just going to give you an impression, okay? And this is what happens when you practice. When you say it, it actually becomes, you get to get better at it because you get to look at what you did. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes.
So you started off, and I'd be interested in other people's reactions, see if you had the same reaction. You started off with a sales pitch for it. Okay? You started talking about how it was all natural and how, you know, it's this and that and everything. And I tuned out because it was a sales pitch. You would have had much more attention from me, and I'm talking personally, but we'll get some other people's feedback.
Okay.
If you had said, last night I was making my daughter a salad and she wanted it to be, you know, she was saying, hey, is there anything we can do that can make it a little more interesting? And I made a salad dressing out of the Supersonic, and she loved it. It was spicy and it gave such great flavor. And on top of that, it was great for her because it had all these natural ingredients and stuff.
Got
Okay.
it.
But you start off with the personal story. You got my interest. You start off with the sales pitch. I tuned out.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Good.
Let's just pick on Gail. Did you have the same reaction I did, or did
Yes,
you?
that's funny. It's funny you say that because I did immediately. I was turned off just from, and you did a great job though, Daisy, like in being natural. Got to give you the props for that because it's hard to be natural, especially you're talking to a bunch of strangers like us and just off the cuff. But it's true. And I think for myself too, we just have to remind ourselves that we're not trying to be pushy or salesy. So we just have to, remind ourselves not to lead in with what we're trying to sell. Like that's not really intriguing and interesting. You know, whenever I hear a story and want to watch a video, it's because of something that grabs my attention, not because I think I'm being sold to. Just psychologically, you know, that's just the way human nature is.
Could I throw something out also?
Sure.
That, like Gail said, off the cuff, and you really just have to practice. Art said is so true. Being candid and not salesy is very difficult to do. And so it does require practice. So, don't worry about failing the first 100 times you do it or however many, it's okay. You'd rather have it than not have it.
Thank you guys, really appreciate. I'm gonna do better next time.
But the story is a cute story about your daughter and stuff. See, I like the story.
I like the story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the only reason I got to the story was because I was doing it as an education thing. So I forced myself to hang in and keep listening, if that makes sense. Okay. You always start off, if you remember last week, we were talking about how you have to start off with a little intrigue, with a hook. Some reason why people want to listen to the rest of the story. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a challenge. So, so let's kind of review what we're doing here. We've got on the screen here the 3x3 grid. We start off with the awareness, which is the why, which is what we're talking about right now. I'm going to use this as a segue to start talking about the next group, which is the how videos. Okay. And that is how you actually do the thing you're doing. And then the last thing is the what, but we're not going to do that till next week. So let's talk. So that's the sequence. The way it works is, first thing is we do the why. Whoops, I don't know why I'm having, there we go. And then, you know, once somebody has listened to a why, we then show them the how videos and the why videos, so they get to see both. Okay. So if we had put these up onto Facebook, and if we had started having them be listened to by people and boosted and stuff, we would have built up a pool of people that had been pixeled for having watched that, and we'd be building up an audience to show the how videos too. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So now what is the how video? The how video is not the call to action, is not buy from us, okay? But it is the how we do it. So, so as an example, if I was if I was going to do one in digital marketing, we have a variety of hows. And so, we'd, on each one of the three, we'd do a different how, but I'll just give a quick example. And Grayson, again, if you can time this, okay?
Listening.
Okay. All right. So my clients need prospects to talk to. And so what we have developed is a marketing system that literally is like a faucet. You can turn it on and turn it off and turn it to whatever volume you need. We literally put stuff out on the internet that catches people's attention and have them ask to be contacted for to discuss the whatever solution they're looking for. I'm Art Radke, founder of More Prospects Now. Okay, so that's that should become more eloquent. Okay, that wasn't the most eloquent, but it was just a very basic. One of the ways we do this, we literally put stuff out on the internet it's like fishing. It literally is putting the lure out there, and the lure is that thing that captures someone's attention, and then step them through the steps where they actually end up raising their hand and saying, hey, reach out and talk to me. All right, so that's what I'm describing to them, okay? And it is literally like a faucet, because we can literally just turn the faucet and have more leads come out or less leads, depending on what the capacity is. We just had one client, in fact, the same one that I was talking about earlier, but we had to turn the faucet back because he was getting too many leads to follow up on. He couldn't keep up with them. And so we literally had to turn the faucet down for produce less leads to allow him to catch up. Okay.
Hey, Art, how did you end that again? Because you always end with the same closing. You say, I'm Art, and you say you're
Art
coming.
Radke, founder of More Prospects Now.
And that's all you say. Okay.
Yep. It is just building a little brand awareness for when they hear More Prospects Now, oh yeah, I heard that guy talk. I heard that guy's video, if that makes sense. We're not trying to sell anybody with that. We all, as human beings, we love buckets. We love being able to put somebody in a certain place, for we know how to categorize them, if that makes sense. And so I'm just helping them put me in their bucket, for they can remember who I am and what I do.
Yeah, I think it's important. That's why you didn't want to lead in with it, but you're closing with it. And I think it's always important to do that, so that memory, the last thing someone hears, they're going to remember, oh yeah,
Right.
Who was that guy? And they're going to keep remembering it if you say it the same way.
Right. And what happens is we always want to say it first. We're going, hi, I'm Art Radke with More Prospects Now. Because we want to get that out. We want people to know who we are. We want people to know our business. We want to make sure they don't miss it. But they're receiving a sales pitch that moment. They stop listening. They don't hear anything that comes after that. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so again, we have to remember, you know, that they're an equal part of this conversation, and how they're going to react to it is more important than what we want out of it. Because if we take care of what they want out of it, then then we'll get what we want out of it. All right. So, anybody want to give a how video a try? Come on, people, be brave.
I think you should pick on Rob Medley.
How long are you saying that should be? It just can be
Should be-
even 20 seconds or?
Less than a minute.
Art's was 46 seconds.
Okay. And it's the type of thing where, and the reason we do 3 different videos of each of these is if, not everything we do is going to be enticing to everybody, but someone who doesn't have enough leads right now and wants more leads, they might be motivated to talk to us because we had a client who actually asked us to turn back the number of leads they were getting. Does that make sense? It might leave them going, wow, I wish I could turn back the number of leads. I wish I was in that situation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But does it have to be that long? Does it have to be close to a minute? I mean,
No.
yours is 46 seconds, but can it just be like you're saying 30 days of videos. So I know I'm just going back to that as an example because I'm thinking there's some things that I can say that aren't that long, but
That's
for example-
fine. Just say the things you have. If it's 20 seconds, that's fine. You'll find it is very hard to get down below 30 seconds if you're saying anything. But if it's something that's really short, that's fine. I mean, there's been ads that are 15 seconds long that have done tremendously, as long as you can actually make the connection. That's all we're looking for. You have to be able to make a connection with somebody. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, these are not the examples of how, like you said, they're not going to be the first videos they see anyway. So the why ones are. So could it be something like this? I'm going to give my example.
Please.
Okay. I've developed a bunch of supplement recommendations and daily examples of ways to boost my thyroid healing from hypothyroidism. I'm Gail with Power Healing USA. Could it be something like that?
Well, it wasn't a story. At
No.
least I didn't hear it as a story. It wasn't.
No.
It sounded more like a sales pitch
Okay.
to me.
I thought we were supposed to be like the why one is talking about the story more, but the how one is supposed to tell a story.
How?
I thought I was just saying like how I'm going to
Well,
help.
The how is more about the how, with no doubt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we as people tend to listen to stories.
Okay.
Okay. The reason I threw in that I was talking to a client earlier today, which was absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
He's a painter in Raleigh. Grayson and Chattery was Scott that I was talking to. He literally had too many leads. I mean, it was a real thing that they were going through. I could have said, well, so the same thing. Let's say I do the same. I'm not recommending this. I'm just giving it as an example. Okay. I could say, we have the ability to give people more leads than they can handle. And so when that happens, we tell them to tell us to cut back the number of leads. I mean, I'm left with, yeah, right. Yeah, they really do that. Which is totally different than saying, I was talking to someone today who asked me to turn back the number of leads he was getting. Which one do you find more interesting?
Yes, I agree. So, for example, which this is a true story, I could say I was talking with a friend of mine who has MS, and he asked me what I did to heal my body from Hashimoto's, for example, and then go into what I was saying.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I would think.
Okay, because I have many of those,
Right.
you know,
Whenever you can make it personal, we're human beings. We absolutely desire connection. Okay.
The
We
second way
want
you
to
did
connect
that,
with
that it
people.
really had a hook to it.
I'm sorry?
The second way she said that really had a hook to it. I mean, when she said
Right.
about a friend, how, you know, they could do something, that really came across as it was pulling me in, as opposed to the first way she said it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so what I missed on the how is that I thought I was just supposed to be saying how, but you're right. I should be leading in with something more, and I was missing that aspect. And I have many, many stories of those examples, you know, of people asking me different things. So it is more interesting, you're right, to hear the background and make it personal. So
Yes,
thank
I agree also, 100%.
you. I was just missing that aspect of
Right.
this. So that's helpful.
Now, and I'm going to be like a broken record. And the more these videos you do, the more people can point out how they react to it, and the better you can get at it.
Mhm.
Yes, it's hard to hear feedback, you know, I'm not saying from you guys, but you know, but this would be a closed group we're posting our videos to anyway, but you know, the general public can be ruthless. So that's
Oh,
hard to hear.
I
Yeah.
thought that 30 days gonna be in our Facebook or our group Facebook.
Just our group, I think. That's
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
a private Facebook group that one has to actually ask to join.
Oh, I
Which-
see. I was thinking to put it on mine.
No, no,
No.
I'm not ready
No.
to put mine on mine yet.
Yeah.
And when you join the group, you'll be able to post those for feedback from other members of the group and from us and so on.
Okay, perfect. I need to have it then later.
I
Okay.
pasted the link for that into the chat.
Oh, you
Oh,
did?
perfect.
Okay, thanks.
Right. And so the whole idea is to get used to recording and posting in a safe environment so you can build up the muscle so you can do it in an unsafe environment,
Perfect.
if that makes sense.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's better, yeah.
Okay, now, one of the things I will say, and I think this is one of those no duh type statements that people make, but still quite often it's good to make it, that the less defensive you are with the criticism, the less personal we take it as simply trying to be better.
Yes.
The better it is. But I'll also say the way the criticism is given defines a lot of that. I will never forget, when my daughter was in 9th grade, she was on a high school sailing team. And it was the worst high school sailing team in the state. And I'm not saying that emotionally, I'm saying statistically they had ended up dead last the year before. Okay, so when I say they were the worst, this was a statement of fact, okay? And we brought in, my wife and I actually paid to bring in a college coach who was very good for a preseason training with the team for a week, okay? And this guy was known as a very, very good coach. I mean, magical. He could take people and get them performing well above where they were at. And the most fascinating thing was in the whole week, do you know how many times I heard him tell the kids what they did wrong? Somebody take a guess how many times I heard him say what they did wrong.
0.
0.
Yep.
No, really?
Yeah, it was amazing. I've never seen anything quite like it. What he'd say, now, I know most people on this call are not sailors, but understand when you change directions, you have to change the sides on the boat. You have to go from one side to the other side of the boat, okay?
Tack.
And let's just say they went across too slowly, all right? What John would say literally is, that was great. Why don't we just experiment? Why don't we do that again and just go across a little faster this time and see if that's any different? And they go, okay. And then go across just a little faster that time. He'd say, gee, that was good. How did that feel? Actually, it felt a little better. Great. Why don't we do it again? Just do it a little faster again and see if that helped. You know, and you see what he's doing? I mean, he's giving them direction on how to improve, but he's never actually told them they did it wrong.
Huh.
Is that not fascinating?
That's a great coach.
Yeah, this guy, as I say, he was magical. He was coach at Stanford. They've won national championships and stuff. We happen to have known him because we come from Cape Cod and he came from Cape Cod, which is the way we connected with him. But he was magical. He really was. It just never once did he say, you did that wrong. It was, why don't we try it this way? Just a little different. It was almost as if they were experimenting together. Where John knew exactly what they had done wrong. He knew exactly what they needed to do it right. But he always addressed it like you were experimenting together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question? You sent two links for Facebook. So are those two different groups?
No, the
Yes.
first one is our Facebook page, and we just encourage you to like it if you don't mind. The
Mhm.
second one is the private group for contractor marketing, and you can just apply
Okay.
for it, and I'm standing by. I'll approve you.
Oh,
Go
okay.
in.
Okay, thanks.
But the reason we included ours is because we throw stuff up, like I do a Facebook Live and stuff, and you can kind of see some of the stuff we're doing. Because everything we do, you could do something similar for your business. It would be different because it would be a different business. But it could be a similar activity. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So do we have another brave person who would like to try another why?
Why or how?
Oh, I'm sorry, how? I apologize. You're absolutely correct.
I'll give it a shot.
Please,
This is
okay, go
Laura.
ahead.
I was just talking to a young man who is looking to buy his first home. He was very nervous about the process, but I told him, no worries. I have a packet that I could give him, and when I met with him yesterday, we went through it, and I walked him step by step through the home buying process, from going to see the house to going to closing. I'm Laura Fapolo, ERA Oakcrest Realty, Winchester, Virginia.
Okay, I like that. Okay. I think that was very good. What you might want to try, okay, I'm now trying to be like
I
that.
hear the tactic.
Right, okay, what I'd like to try, because I actually did like it, okay? We tend to, the more detailed you can be, the more real it seems to us, I think, generally. I think if you said, I have a 13-step, I have a package that outlines my 13-step process from start to finish, from looking at the first house to closing on the house you've chosen. My experience is saying 13 steps makes it seem real. Where saying that we have a series of steps with no definition, it kind of feels less defined. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. I just made a note, and when I do this for real, I'll include that in there. Thank you.
Yeah, and those are the little things that there's no way we're going to think of the first time we do it, which is why we do it numerous times and the like. But they're just little things like that it's basically saying the exact same thing.
Right,
But
right.
one way, and so as an example, when you said you were with a young man,
Yes.
I might have said a young man, I was with Joe, he's a young man, I don't know if Joe's his name or not, but somehow it makes the person real.
Okay.
Now, I didn't do that. See, I've now caught something I didn't do. When I was talking about it, I should have said, I was talking to a client of ours, his name's Scott, he's a painter from Raleigh. When I say that, doesn't that sound more real to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And we just learn little things like that as we go along to the point where it becomes automatic.
And
All
you
right.
could even make up a name if you don't want to put person's name in there, right?
Absolutely.
That way, there's no, hey, why did you use my name in that video? Yeah. that
That's
kind of
right.
thing. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. But it just makes it feel more authentic, I think. It does
I
to
agree.
me, I should say that, okay? Makes it feel more authentic to me. All right?
Yeah, I agree. Like my story, I say last night and what happened is more, I think, catching than I'll say, one day, something more vague.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've even heard, like, when you're talking about when something happened 10 years ago, if you go, I'll never forget, June 10th, 1984. It seems real.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Yes.
longer than 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Well, when you're my age, it all goes together, Rob.
I'm with you, Art.
Me too.
So I was going to play one of Josh's here, I think, if I do this right. He was the gentleman we watched last week. Oh, wait a second. Let me just see here. Let me make sure. Let me stop sharing.
Art, while you're pulling that up, I have a quick question. Should each video have be shot in a different location? I noticed Josh's were, but when I did mine, I did them all from my desk.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting.
Okay.
Anything, it sounds funny, but I was watching a guy and in fact, I'll share a woman. There's this woman who has, has a great program. And okay, you ready for this one? She literally pays for her vacations by coming up with marketing videos on her vacations that make enough money to have paid for the vacation.
Oh, wow.
So as an example, and I'll probably get the pronunciation wrong here, but she went to Machu Picchu. How do you pronounce it?
You.
Not
Machu
Machu, right?
Picchu?
And there's a mound that you climb. It's
Yes.
steep. It's tall. And she literally starts off the video saying, "Okay, see that over there? I'm gonna climb that, and while climbing that, I'm gonna share you with the 5 things you need to do to have a successful video." And she literally, in the sequence of climbing it, gives you like 1-minute little bites of the next step of a successful video. And she's getting out of breath, and it's breathtaking views and stuff. And it's totally irrelevant to her business, but it keeps you connected. Does that make any sense?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's, I forgot to share the sound, so that's why I had to start over again.
I believe that there are 16 things that every small business's website needs to have. And I'm just going to hit you with the number one if I had to pick one, and that is show me that I can trust you. Don't make me guess. Don't make me look around. Don't make me figure it out. So the best way to do that is third-party ratings and reviews. What's your star rating on Google, Facebook, Angie's List, Yelp, Home Advisor, whatever your best ratings are, go grab those and say, okay, we've got 4.7 stars and 49 reviews on Google, and put that graphic, and I'll tell you where to put it on your website. You got your menu, you've got that image, right, that sort of encapsulates what you do, and then you need to put it right below that. Preferably on the screen when I open up your website. Near the bottom, I'm going to see your ratings on Google or Facebook or both, etc., organizations that you're a member of, certifications you have. If you don't have any of those things doing well, put the logos of some of your most famous clients up there and start to show me, see, I'm trying to figure out if I can trust you. It doesn't matter that my mom trusted you or that all 6 of my neighbors had you in their yard working on their yard. I need to decide for myself that I can trust you. And the best way to do that is just show me all the reasons that other people trust you. Show me how many other people trust you and give you great ratings and reviews. And that's the number one thing you can do. You could probably get it done today, and you'll start getting more conversions, more leads, more calls from your website. I'm Josh Walton with Websites for Anything.
All right. So what do people think of that?
I really like his passion when he talks. He's serious, and you could just see that he knows what he's talking about, and he's very passionate about it.
Right. Without a doubt. Now, again, I think he did a good job, okay? But let me just share a couple of things he might try differently next time. He repeated himself a little bit about what to put on the trust bar. He also tried to name too many to the point where he actually had to stop and think of more. And so that video is 1:26. He could have tightened it up, have said the exact same things, but not repeated himself and not paused, and it would have been a minute. What do other people think?
I tend to agree with you, Art.
Okay. All right. So we got 5 minutes. So I'm going to play one more. We have his others, but we're going to do one more.
All right. Have you ever said, thank you so much for the referral, but please don't send them to our website? So one of the things that I believe so strongly is that small businesses are so dependent on word of mouth and referrals, and we carry that through to the website. Your website should be a tool that you use in those relationships and in those referrals. And so the way we do that, how we do that, is we look at constantly having updates on the website. So an automatic way is just to feed the latest social media posts out, like your latest Facebook posts. But there are easy things to do, like you could just write your monthly newsletter and then post it on your website as a blog. And that's something we do for lots of clients, both the writing and the posting. Another way we do that is to just keep the photo galleries fresh, right? Send over a couple pictures every month. Let's keep those updated so that when someone goes to your website, when someone wants to give you a referral, when someone's checking you out because they were referred by someone, they see you're current and your website's up to date and you've got good information on there, and you don't have to be embarrassed. You don't say, oh, don't send them to my website. In fact, you want to send them to your website because you want to keep them engaged after they leave you or while they're stuck at home. You know, you want them to be able to engage with your business on a positive level. And to do that, you just have to keep your website updated. So I believe that's crucial, and it's much simpler than most people realize it is, and it's a great return on investment. I'm Josh Walton with Websites for Anything.
Okay. So another how. Again, I think it could have been a little tighter. He was 20 seconds long. I think he could have cut out 20 seconds pretty easily and still cover everything. All right.
I feel like he talks fast though. It's a little
That's
hard to keep up.
What do other people think?
Yeah, he did talk very much faster on this one even than the others.
Is
He's
that
giving a
video
lot
on?
of information and trying to cram it in there.
Yeah, it's obvious he's trying to keep it under the minute. And
But
he
Is that-
he does
Just
well
like
at
it.
repeating, go to the website, keep it fresh.
Kind of like a
He
infomercial.
repeats it a couple times, which is okay, I think.
Like an infomercial.
Yes. Somebody said it's like an infomercial. I get that.
Yeah, that
I
was
do-
me. I personally, if I was watching that, well, I mean, I just did watch it, and I understand the theme of the point I think that you're trying to share with us, Art, but I don't think that's a very good example of a professional how.
Right. And I just want to point out that I'm actually not playing these as great examples. I'm playing them as real examples that people have done, for we can look at them and see what we would do differently to make them better. And so I think that's great. I mean, he just had the guts to actually do it and get them up, and he's posting them. And we're going to share in a second how they're doing on Facebook. I ought to do that now, because as I say, we're running out of time. So on Facebook, he's had these are the how videos. Okay, so in other words, we had a bunch of people watch the why videos, and I forget, but it was like 2,300 people watched the why videos, and now those people are being shown the how videos. We've had 247 people watch one of the how videos. Now, were they perfect videos? No, they were not perfect videos. But how excited would we be if we had the opportunity to share what we do with 247 people?
Yes.
All
At a
right.
local, handpicked, targeted people. When
Right.
you do the initial
We've already shared
advertising,
with-
it's we're going after the market.
Yeah, we've already shared with about 2,100, 2,200 people why we do what we do. And now we've shared with another 247, but not another, but the same people who watch that, 247 of them have now watched the how we do what we do.
And it's important to note that that's only the last 7 days of traffic. If you look up in the top right. So Art, maybe you change that to lifetime.
Yeah, I can't. This is actually a
screen cap.
A screen
Gotcha.
cap that Chattery got.
Okay.
Okay. But in the last week, he has shared how with 247 people. All right. It's no wonder that his business has just about doubled in the last 12 months when he's getting out to that many people. And I believe we can even see how much he spent on this, which is a ridiculously small amount.
Like
It's
two
somewhere
cents
here.
per view or something.
Yeah. Yes, 2 cents per view. It's not here, but it was like $10 he had spent on this so far. I'd seen in an earlier thing that Chattery had shared with me. All right. If we had the opportunity to go to a chamber event and share with 247 people how we do what we do, we would have considered that an unbelievably good night. And yet he did it from the comfort of his home. All right. So the assignment this week is to, if you didn't do your whys yet, do your whys and post them in the private group. If you've done your whys, do your hows and post them in the group. And I want everybody to get involved and share how they can be better. Be, on the one hand, be absolutely honest, but do it respectfully. We'll all try to learn from John to suggest things we may have done differently without criticizing what we did do. All right?
And we post that too. The 1 minute every day, we post in the same place.
That would be fantastic.
Yep, the private group is a great place to get feedback from your peers on how you're doing and share suggestions and give honest, friendly feedback.
Good.
All
Excellent.
right?
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope this was valuable to people.
It
We'll
was.
see you next week, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you
Bye.
next week.
Thank you, Art. Thank you, Grayson. So long, everybody.